privilege to have Sharon Zaubi at this table to tell you about her life story. In some 44 years now, you've crammed it all in. Let me just take a moment to say that you overcame an eating disorder, you are a musician, you are a nationally ranked bodybuilder, a jewelry designer, anti-bullying advocate with your Z-Force, we'll explain that later, diagnosed with terminal cancer.
Yes.
What does that mean? After all that you've done and you're diagnosed with cancer and still the vibrancy in your face.
It was kind of like I got the wind knocked out of me. It was like such a shock because I've kind of been like the poster child for fitness and health. I'm also a personal trainer. I've been certified, and I'm like, wow, how does that happen to someone like me? But I've taken it in stride, and I'm like, well, I guess it's just something else that I need to overcome, and it's going to teach me something. Because every obstacle you have to overcome, every challenge kind of builds your character, and then it gives you wisdom to help other people. So I'm not angry at God. I'm not, bitter in any way. And that's, every day is a gift. And
so many people don't understand that.
No.
Let's start with your life. You had an eating disorder.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about that.
I was a gymnast, and as a gymnast, you're really self-conscious about how you look because you're in a leotard all the time. So I felt like I needed to be thinner because I was very muscular, and it kind of made me feel like I was bigger than some other girls. And I was never, it's all an optical, it's part of the sickness, it's part of the illness, is you don't really see your true self. It's a distorted self-image, body dysmorphia. So I went on a diet, and I initially had lost like 25 pounds. And I remember I was like so excited, but then at first it started off where after I lost the weight, and then I kept getting compliments. Everyone's like, wow, you look great, you lost all that weight. And then it was almost like feeding into my disease that was starting at the time. And I didn't know it was a disease until later, or when I was trying to get out of it and I couldn't. And then then I couldn't start eating normally again, because if I put any weight on, then I would start to freak out. And I remember as part of it, to make sure I was like in check with myself. I mean, I always looked in the mirror. But the funny thing is, I didn't really, a lot of people are obsessed with the scale, but for me, the mirror, like looking in the mirror, and I had to make sure my legs didn't touch. And when I laid down at night, I had to feel I wanted to feel my hip bones. And that made me feel like, okay, I'm still thin. And then like the food felt weird in my stomach because I was so used to starving myself that if I ate too much, then I didn't feel good and it didn't feel right. And then I started to become bulimic. So I would eat, and at the time, I'm living with my family, and then I would start to throw up, to purge my food, partly because it felt uncomfortable, but I also didn't want to gain weight.
How did you get out of this and become a bodybuilder and a fitness instructor and all that? How did you get out?
I struggled for 15 years, roughly, with anorexia, bulimia, mostly bulimia towards the later times. But as soon as I got out of high school, I went straight into a clinic, like a hospital for eating disorders, but it was, they also had other people with other problems as well. It wasn't just eating disorder specific. So it was Four Winds in Katona, New York. And I stayed there for like 5 months, and they put me on a diet, a healthy diet. And I remember I was like freaking out, like, oh my God, but I wanted to get better. It's not like my parents were forcing me to go, but I was like, please save me. I wanted to get out of this torment. It was really tormenting me. I couldn't stop binging and purging, and like the food to me was like a drug, but it was a legal drug. You could buy it anywhere. It's glorified on TV, and you get so sucked into it, and it would take away my stress.
So what was the trigger that got you out of that?
Learning how to love myself. And that's why Z-Force came to be, because I had such self-hatred because I couldn't get out of this eating disorder. I couldn't even look in the mirror and say, I love you. I just hated myself so much. And my father, God rest his soul, but he gave me a cassette tape about affirmations. And that you'd play the cassette and you'd have to look in the mirror and say, I'm worthy. I am capable of anything I put my mind to, and I love myself. You know, and I love you, Sharon. You know, like, it was really hard. I couldn't do it. I was almost going to gag. Like, I hated myself that much. And
so he saved you in many ways.
yeah.
And the people around you did. We have so much to get through because you're such an advocate for others because you had such a struggle yourself. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about anti-bullying and Z-Force and how you're going into schools wherever you can and teaching children what?
How to fight the inner bully, which is what tormented me. And the inner bully, it's those negative thoughts in your head telling you, oh, you can't do that, or oh, you're not worth it, or you stink, or you're bad, you know, all those negative things. You're a loser. And reinforcing positive messages like the songs. That's why I was thinking, because I'm a musician.
Where did you
as well.
find music? How did music get into your life?
When I grew up, I started singing like at a very young age, like probably 3 or 4.
So
I was
you're a
dancing.
multi-talented gal, singing, dancing, everything.
Yeah.
So music, did that also save you, do you think?
Yeah. And that's what I want to use to save others, because I know how strong and powerful music is when you get a song stuck in your head. And a lot of the songs out there now have negative messages. And I want these kids to get these songs stuck in their head, like Never Give Up. I mean, that's really like my anthem. My song is Never Give Up. And there's a song, I Believe, and
What
enough,
are the lyrics in some of these songs?
like Never Give Up, I'm believing in my dreams and taking steps to make them true. It's a never-ending battle, pushing hard to see them through. There are many roadblocks thrown my way to take me off my path. Though I stumble through the obstacle, my vision is intact. And it's hard enough without people stepping in, and they're filling me with doubt. Their concern is just pretend. But no matter if I fall down, I will get back off the ground. With my spirit even stronger, I will not back down.
And when you go to the schools, you wear a cape and an outfit,
Yep.
and you're kind of a crime fighter.
Yeah.
And you're fighting against bullying, which
Yeah.
is Z-Force. And
Yeah.
so if folks want you into the school, they should get a hold of you
Yes.
for your powerful messages.
Yep.
Somewhere along the line, you beat the eating disorder, you become a fitness trainer, and you become a bodybuilder at some point. These are amazing pictures of you, and we have one of them right here. How long did you do bodybuilding?
About 3 years.
What did that give you?
A great feeling of accomplishment, because it's very hard, it's very tough. You really need determination and inner strength to get yourself to look that way. And part of it was, there's a lot of this that's inspired from my father. Like I'm so sad he's not here to see this, but I know he's with me. And I used to lift weights with him when I was young. And we had a little gym in the basement that we'd work out together. And
It was daughter-dad time.
yeah, I was like the boy he never had.
So you become a bodybuilder. You're also a jewelry maker with beautiful messages behind your jewelry. What do you get from making the jewelry?
I'm just a creative person, and I love making pretty things. You know, just like writing songs, I love to write pretty songs. And I find that this particular jewelry, this is my chakra therapy line. It's based on the chakras, which are the energy centers in your body. But like, you would wear one of these and you would like kind of meditate or focus on that energy that needs to be worked on. So let's say you're struggling with finances. So then you would wear, you know, let's say, I hope I'm not making too much sense. You'd wear this one. It's the root chakra. So it's like your basic food, clothing, shelter, money, housing, all of that. So you would, you know, pray or meditate on that.
You focus on something
Yeah.
other than yourself, outside of yourself,
Yeah.
I guess. When did the diagnosis of cancer come? And did you have any kind of symptoms?
Yeah.
And what exactly were you diagnosed with?
With a grade 2-3 astrocytoma, brain cancer.
Which means
It's terminal because brain cancer, just the way the astrocytes are, you can't get it all out. So the first surgery I had July 3rd, they got 90% out. And then I went through radiation for 6 weeks, 5 times a week. And I reacted badly towards radiation. I had a lot of inflammation. I had to take steroids and things to kind of calm my inflammation down in my brain. And then it grew and swelled, so they had to have a second surgery December 18th. And that was really difficult because I was barely even recovered from the first one. And then I'm like, oh my God, I have to have another one. So they removed some more of the tumor, but there's still tumor there. And my doctor said I have about 7 years left.
And how do they know 7 years? How do they? Because you can never lose hope.
Yeah, and I'm not, I'm not losing hope. I'm still going to live every day like it's my last, but this was kind of like a 2x4 over the head. Like, I should have felt this way before, which I kind of did, I've done so many things already. I've kind of been living like I've been dying anyway, just achieving all these things and just doing as much as I can. And now it's even more like a smack in the head. Like, this is my life purpose, is to get Z-Force out there and to help other people love themselves, make the most of who they are, make the most of their strengths. And don't compare yourself to other people because we all have our own unique gifts. And you just have to take the hand you're dealt and just make it the most you can.
Sharon, along the way with cancer, you lose your hair.
Yeah.
So this is your hair. Mm-hmm. And you wear this when you go into schools.
Yes.
And you said to me, the hair defined you.
Yeah.
Or did.
It did.
Tell me about that.
I've had long hair like my entire life. So it was like my arm. It was like part of who I am. So when I knew I was going to lose my hair, I was like, oh my God, I was panicking. Because I remembered when I was younger, I had my hair cut by this woman. She's like, trust me, I'm going to try something new. She cut my hair really short, and it was actually a really bad experience. So it freaked me out. And then I'm thinking, oh boy, I don't look good with short hair. And I wanted to save this, especially because I'm thinking Z-Force. I already had I had this wonderful comic book illustrator illustrate Z-Force for me with long hair and all of that. So I'm like, I have to keep the image. So a wonderful friend of mine who's in the ski club, I didn't even know that she did hair prosthetics and that she worked with cancer patients and people with alopecia and hair loss. And she said that she could make a wig out of my own hair. So she actually harvested my hair. She made these tiny little ponytails all around my head to get the most hair. And then she cut, and my hair was really super short. And I wanted to do that so that they could have the hair to harvest it, but I also thought it would be more traumatic had I just let it fall out and then see it on, in the shower, at the bottom of the shower. I would be like, really, it would have been even more of an emotional toll on me. But the fact that she had this wig made and I could wear it now for the shows. But when I did the show on Monday for Curiel Schools, that was the first time I actually wore it out. Because I wanted to save it for a special occasion, and that was really what it was for. It was for Z-Force, so I could still look like my superhero.
So you've had 2 brain surgeries.
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
I get really tired. It does, any day activity takes a lot out of me. So I pace myself, like I still go out there and I still do my music, I still perform, and I just have to make sure I rest up. Like I'll sleep most of the day, so I have the energy to perform at night. And I always post on Facebook whenever I've gone out because I want to show people like I'm still alive. My life is, I still have a lot to accomplish, and I'm still going to go out and do what I love to do. And that I know it's hard for some people with cancer, when they're at the end of the end stages, or if they were diagnosed very late in like stage 3 or 4, that they can't even do what I do. So I'm especially grateful that I have a type of cancer that I can still be mobile and I could still go out there and do things that I love. And I want to inspire people who are sick and even who aren't sick that you have one shot, it's one roller coaster ride, that's it, so make the most of your time.
Do you see a lot of people wasting time? You've been given a sentence of 7 years, perhaps.
Yeah.
Do you see a lot of folks wasting time on nonsense?
Yeah.
Tell me how it looks from your vantage point.
I feel bad. I kind of feel sad that they're wasting their time away when they're healthy and vibrant and they have energy. And the thing I really wish I had more of was energy. And that was what I had got. That's what was the kind of one of the symptoms you had asked me before. What was the symptom? And that, like, for 6 months before, I was just so exhausted. Everything. I felt like I was
But look at
wearing
all
a
you
lead
did,
suit.
right? I mean, how would you know that you were tired? Because, I mean, you do so much.
Yeah, but I normally would be bounding with energy, and I was really, really tired. And I was working as a waitress, which I had worked at as a waitress many, many years ago in college, and I had to go back to that. And I had a grand mal seizure at work. And then that's when I found that I had a tumor and that it was cancer. And it was just like everything happened so fast. But then it kind of made sense to me. I'm like, well, that explains why I've been feeling so bad. But all through this, I've been trying to just still keep a positive attitude, because your mind is so powerful. So you have to stay positive and keep focused on your goals and what you're going to accomplish still. Even if you're diagnosed with a terminal illness, there's still life left. And I'm just trying my best to live my life to the fullest, to squeeze every bit out of my life. And another thing about my dad is he always said, what is your legacy going to be? And he always said that to me. So I feel like my legacy is to leave a positive message behind, to love yourself, and to make the most of who you are, and be happy that you're enough just as you are, So I want to leave a positive legacy. That's my dream.
Did. Sharon Zaubi, thank you so much for coming on. This was really precious.
I'm so honored. Thank you.
Trivial pursuits when one this in. Who is this girl I spend all night kissing? And if one was right here, then who else is missing? Got a little sidetracked, found us a wish and found the keys to the door, but it's also a metaphor. Need to keep locked in the grocery store of a mind. Just the same time.